Chapter 1. Terror, the Imperial Palace. The silence crept through the halls and into Corland's mind. There was no lack of noise in the chamber, but the silence found the cracks between the hiss of steam, the crackle of energy, the clanking of mechadendrites. The silence was strong. It was filled with the dead and with futility. Corland wondered if this same silence had blanketed terror in the wake of the proletarian crusade. It was a quiet deeper than mourning, more powerful than despair. It had followed him from Ulanor. It had been waiting for him on Terra. Its weight was crushing. The chamber was part of a bulbous chapel on the west side of the Cathedral of the Saviour Emperor's exterior wall. The space was an ecumenical one, an architectural statement of the essential identity of the imperial creed and the cult of the Omnissiah. The Black Templars of the Last Wall had insisted the decryption of the visual feed occur on sacred ground. Its transmission had been among the last acts of a venerable brother, and it had emerged from a battle where many Black Templars had died. The chapel did double duty as a site of worship and laboratorium. It would serve. The Mechanicus adepts fed the data through cogitators, assisted by Black Templars' serfs. The air was thick with incense. The operation was performed under the supervision of Eternity. He was of the Last Wall now, and wore the colours of the Imperial Fists, but he had come from the Black Templars. His arms were folded, his head bowed in reverence. Corland watched from the rear of the chapel with Thane. They were alone. Eternity had refused to allow any of the High Lords to bear witness. Corland did not blame him. Their presence would have disturbed the solemnity of the ceremony. Corland did not care for the religiosity of the ritual, but he accepted it. But even if he hadn't, he would have barred the High Lords. There was no place for them and dignity to coexist. "Any speculations?" Corland asked Thane. "None." The chapter master of the Fists Exemplar spoke with a grim, flat tone. He sounded like a man bracing himself for the worst. "We know it is important, and to our advantage if it emerged from a victory against the Orcs." "I know," said Thane, as if Corland had pointed out what he most dreaded. Corland said nothing else. Thane was surrounded by his own version of the crushing silence. Corland could not dispel his own. There was nothing he could do for the Exemplar. The silence settled over them. The chanting of the tech priests and the crackle of energy discharges did little to pierce it. Corland watched the ritual, but barely saw it. His vision narrowed to a dark tunnel. His consciousness sank into the tunnel, and he stayed there, numb. The suffocation of the silence held off the piercing blade of loss, guilt, and defeat, for the moment. It was not a respite. It was only a different quality of pain. He was so far in the tunnel, he didn't realize at first that he was being addressed. "Lord Commander Corland," the voice repeated, its augmetic larynx buzzing. Corland blinked. The chapel snapped back into place about him. He looked down at the adept. Her name was Segorine. A cluster of servo arms, segmented so that they flexed like tentacles, emerged from her torso. Her face was a steel mask dominated by compound eyes. "The decryption is complete," Segorine said. "Thank you," said Corland. He and Thane followed her down the chapel aisle to where the other tech priests waited. Behind the altar, a large pict screen pulsed with snow. "Faith," said Eternity. Corland waited. "Faith," Eternity said again. "That is what we are about to witness. That is what will grant us victory against the beast." "I see," Corland said, non-committal. Segorine snaked out a limb to a control panel built into the altar. She depressed a dial, and the screen came to life. The images flickered and jumped. The muzzles of beam weapons flared everything to white. Explosions broke up the picture.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.